Hi, this is Dr. Diana, and I wanted to share a GI map stool interpretation of a patient that I have who is suffering with acne and anxiety. This patient is a 29-year-old female that came to me with painful cystic acne that she's had since 20 years old. She's been suffering for quite a bit, and as well as stress and anxiety. And so, knowing the link between acne and skin health in general to the gut, and then knowing that the gut is also related to our brains, so the gut brain axis connection, I suggested that we should check her gut and run a GI map stool test. And so, I wanted to just go through how I interpret this result and relate it to an acne case specifically. Let's start. There's about 5 pages of results. And what I usually do first is I go and look at the microbiome by looking at the normal bacterial flora. So our normal bacteria that lives inside us is responsible for extracting our nutrients and vitamins from our food. They're important in maintaining our gut barrier function and making sure um, that we don't have any leaky gut, and maintaining our healthy mucosal barrier, our immune balance, and making sure that pathogens don't get inside of us past the gut barrier. So what I'm really looking for in this section is a balanced bacterial flora. So I don't want to be seeing too many lows, and I don't want to be seeing any highs. And usually these bacteria are found in multi-strain probiotics. So we're doing quite good there. Clostridia class of bacteria is low. And so this class of bacteria is pretty important because they're our main butyrate producers, and which maintains healthy mucosal barriers. So maintains that mucus layer that prevents pathogens from getting inside of us. We don't want that number to be too low, and we don't want it to be too high. So in this case, it is a bit low. So the way I would approach this is to maybe introduce some more fiber and make sure that the patient is not consuming sugars and not consuming a lot of refined carbohydrates, and making sure that the diet is maybe more involving more resistant starches instead of simple carbs. The high commensal bacteria here, so these are the family of these guys over here. And so they're found a bit high. So this means that we have a bit of an overgrowth of normal bacterial flora. And why is that? It might mean, most common is that the diet is containing too much starch and sugars and simple carbohydrates. So we might want to start with that, making sure that the patient reduces the amount of refined carbohydrates in the diet. It might mean that the food particles aren't being broken down properly, so low stomach acid, poor digestion, reduced absorption. So we might want to address just maybe introducing some antimicrobials to keep that bacteria in check. So, because we're getting a little bit of an overgrowth here. And I look at this section first because the rest of the results will show us what contributes to this or what else is going on to cause this overgrowth. So once I get a good look at this normal bacteria flora, then I start over and I go to page 1 and go in order. There's no pathogens or parasitic viral pathogens, so that's great. H. pylori is a bacteria that lives in our stomach. And if given the opportunity, it could grow and cause symptoms like GERD. That's the classic symptom. Acid reflux, some burning, irritation in the stomach. It could lead to ulcers, and so it's important that if it's there and it's overgrowing, that it be treated. Now, it's not below detectable limit. It is there, and it's in the stool. So this might mean that in the stomach, it might in fact be overgrowing. So I usually take this result in context with what's going on with the patient. So we'll just keep that in mind. It's there, low level. Then I go to page 3 and I look at our opportunistic bacteria. So this bacteria overgrows if given the opportunity. And Bacillus species is commonly associated with constipation. High levels, again, could be caused by things like low stomach acid, SIBO, constipation. Keep in mind that low stomach acid could be caused by an overgrowth of H. pylori. So we have to really figure out if there is low stomach acid, why the low stomach acid exists. Is it because the person is not eating relaxed? Are they eating too fast? Is it because there is H. pylori? There's many different causes of low stomach acid. So here we have an overgrowth of staph and strep. So again, overgrowth of these bacteria can be caused by insufficient digestion, low stomach acid, insufficient enzymes, and we'll see at the end, there is a marker for measuring enzymes, pancreatic enzymes. So we have to, again, keep in mind and look at all the other markers on this test to really have a good picture of what's going on. I just made a note here for methanobacteria, because methanobacteria are methane producers. And if this number is high, and it is kind of, it's just under the normal limit, but it is there, it could be associated with slower transit time in the gut. So that could lead to things like constipation. This patient does not suffer from constipation. She is going to the washroom daily, and she's having 1 to 3 bowel movements a day. However, her history indicates to me that there was some constipation in the past, and it could be alternating. So we could support the gut with increasing the motility of the gut, and maybe using some antimicrobials like garlic and coconut derived products as well. So this section is our potential autoimmune triggers. Prevotella specifically is a gram-negative Bacteroides phylum bacteria that is associated with rheumatoid arthritis. And high levels can result from, again, reduced digestive capacity, or again, if someone has too much starch or too much refined carbohydrates in their diet. And so we're gonna try to make sure that there's resistant starches in the diet, more fruits and vegetables in the diet to control that. There was some fungi and yeast found in the stool. So it's not red, it's not coming up too high, but it is there. It's not below detectable limit. It is there. Candida overgrowth can be caused by antibiotic use or recurrent antibiotic use. It could be caused by too much, again, sugar or starch in the diet, refined carbohydrates, or fungi in the diet. It could be caused by low stomach acid, impaired immunity due to stress, perhaps. And it could be also caused by just a general disbalance or imbalance of bacteria in the rest of the gut. And she has some symptoms of candida, so we might want to address that as well. There were no parasites and no worms in this case. That's great. We can rule that out. And these are our markers of intestinal health. These are our markers of how well our organs of digestion are doing. So our organs of digestion are our stomach, our liver and gallbladder, our pancreas, our small intestine, our large intestine, and then finally our colon over here. So it kind of goes top down, starting at the stomach and ending with the colon here. So starting in the stomach, how are we digesting our food? Well, the fats are being digested because steatocrit is our fat. There's no fat in the stool. How is the pancreas doing? So not so well, not so good, because this number is too low. It should be over 500 ideally. So elastase is secreted by our pancreas along with other enzymes to break down our food, specifically protein, and break down our food properly. And so the fact that it's low here, I'm going to think about supporting the pancreas, supporting the stomach, and supporting low stomach acid, supporting the enzymes to ensure that gut function is working well. Our beta glucuronidase is a marker of our phase 2 liver detox pathway. And so if it is too high, it could mean that we have impaired liver detox and things are being circulated back into the body. So if this is high, I usually think that it could mean that the person is also constipated and hormones may be recirculated back into the body. So in an acne case, for example, if I suspect that it's hormonal, I want to see this number to ensure that liver function is working properly and that they're not recirculating excess hormones in their body and causing issues at the skin level. The next one, this is occult blood. So there's no blood in the stool, which is great. The secretory IgA was found to be a bit low. Our secretory IgA is our first line of defense in our gut. So 70% of our immune system is in the gut. And so secretory IgA is a really good indicator of whether we have a balanced microbiome and whether our immune system in the gut is protecting well against whether it's protecting us from exposure to food-derived antigens or bacteria. So suppressed immunity can be caused by stress and anxiety. So this particular patient has anxiety, and what could be happening is this anxiety at the brain level is causing overall stress on the body and suppressing the immune system, which is showing up as this low secretory IgA. So the way we want to address low secretory IgA is we want to first make sure that we're reducing stress and we are supporting adrenal health. So we can use things like adaptogens to help our adrenal gland, help us deal with stress better. We can also support SIGA with cholesterol and immunoglobulins. We could also add in multi-stream probiotics or S. boulardii. And then we can also add in things like L-glutamine to help build up that nice layer of immune health, as well as things like essential fatty acids, fish oils, zinc, vitamin A, and D. The next marker here is our gluten response, so anti-gliadin IgA. It looks pretty good. And then the final marker here, the calprotectin, is low. So there's no inflammation in the colon, which is great. We can rule that out. And so overall, what I would say for this case is that we have some low-level overgrowth of bacteria on quite a few levels. We have the candida, and then we have some normal bacteria overgrowth, and then we have some overgrowth of opportunistic bacteria. And so we're going to try to rebalance this with maybe using some antimicrobials, making sure that the diet is lower in refined starches and refined carbs, and then support that SIGA and support the immune system, because a healthy immune system will help control overgrowth of any bacteria. And hopefully then that is reflected in the skin and in her mood. So that's how I would approach this case. If you're interested in the GI map, please feel free to reach out and I will be glad to share.